All right, guys, welcome back to the podcast. It's been a minute. I know. I apologize. We've got some really good news and a few tweaks and changes to the podcast. First off, audio podcasts will be available every single week. And that's a promise. We are going to make a podcast every single week, whether we're traveling the world, back home in the studio in Salford, wherever we are, we're going to do a podcast. And that's going to be released on a Tuesday morning. So you can enjoy it on your drive to work. It'll be audio only, available on Spotify, Apple Music, all of your favorite audio podcast providers. So make sure you subscribe there. Video podcasts will happen still throughout the year. They might be more exclusive for interviews or when me and Guy are back in the studio together in Salford. And this episode, in fact, is one that we recorded a few months ago back in West Palm Beach in America with Anthony Kim. Now, Anthony Kim has got an incredible story, like one of a kind. When he first hit the scene, it was somewhere like 20 odd years ago now, he came out as this protege, this superstar, this aggressive playing, really talented, a little bit cocky, very kind of ambitious. He used to wear these belts with these massive big belts with AK on it. And he was just the bee's knees. And then he got in a bit of trouble. He went missing for 12 years and nobody's seen him. Nobody knew what had happened to him. He hadn't played golf. He didn't even own a set of golf clubs in that time frame. And then randomly, because of a rumor that took place on Twitter about him coming back into professional golf and whether he was going to be joining PGA or LIV, sparked his interest again. He was like, maybe could I play professional golf? And he got a phone call from LIV to say, come and join us, come and have a chat. And the rest is history. He joined LIV last year. He played a full season. He's back here this season playing as a wild card pick. His kind of story is fascinating. Like, we got a little glimpse behind the curtain about his story. We're going to learn a lot more in a full episode of a 10-shot challenge, which is coming out on Monday next week. So stay tuned to the main channel for that. But this was filmed back a few weeks ago. Me and Guy got to sit down with AK himself to find out what makes him tick. Enjoy. Podcast will be back. Audio, 100%. And visual on the podcast channel every time we have a guest or if me and Guy are back in the studio. Thanks for your continued support. It's really appreciated. And we shall see you all soon. Sit back and enjoy this fantastic sit down with Anthony Kim. Well, AK, thanks for coming on the podcast.
Appreciate it. Thanks.
We've also now going to have a really cool nickname, RS, from now on.
Okay.
And this is GC.
GC, yeah. It's got to be.
Now, in the UK, GC isn't a great... As someone already has a nickname GC, and it's already been taken in the social media world, so you have to maybe think of a new one.
Okay.
But thanks for coming on the podcast.
Really
appreciate it. What a crazy 12 months it's been for you. We were just talking there about how when you first got announced about potentially coming back playing professional golf, we made a video, said maybe is it a gimmick? Is this going to be true? Is AK finally back? And I don't think anybody believed it until you teed it up that first time over in Saudi Arabia and you actually hit a great tee shot, to be fair. Like, how did that all come about? And what were you feeling on that very first tee shot?
The year's been a blur. I'm really grateful that LIV gave me this opportunity and this platform to play professional golf again. I definitely didn't see golf in my future. Even looking back on the season now, it's hard for me to believe that I'm playing golf again. Not professionally, but just golf at all. So very, very grateful for you having me on the podcast. Just found out you're the biggest golf influencer. So appreciate you having me. And I'm just, right now, I'm trying to live through my experiences with a lot of gratitude for the opportunities that I have and where I'm at right now.
That's great to hear. Did last year, did you go into it with any expectations? And if you did you beat those expectations? Did you surprise yourself? Was it hard thinking, 12 years ago when you were playing professional golf full time? it must have been hard brain switch to come back into a brand new season after such a long time off golf.
Well, I think I lived in some sort of delusion that I was going to be competitive right off the jump. Playing around at your club, or when you're practicing every day and hitting good shots and shooting some good scores, you think it's just going to automatically transfer over to professional golf or tournament golf. And unfortunately, I had to be that delusional just to be able to shoot the scores I did.
Yeah. I
don't think people really believe, and I definitely hear, people are saying, and it's, he couldn't have possibly taken 12 years off golf. Like, who goes from playing golf competitively at a pretty high level to not playing at all? And that was exactly what happened. And I know at some point when I have the time to tell the full story of what was going on in my life, what's happened in my past, I think people will start to understand that golf was a means to an end for me. And at this point in my life, I'm doing it because I love it, and I'm starting to fall in love with the game, which I've never done before. So having my daughter and getting sober really changed my life. I don't think I would have gotten sober if my daughter didn't come into this world. And obviously, so grateful for my wife and my daughter to support me along the way this year.
Good for you. Good for you. When you do tell the story, one, can we have the exclusive? And two, could it be a movie? Like, could it be the AK movie? Like, how dramatic were those 12 years?
There was a lot of boring times, but my mom used to tell me, when you're 10 years old, you go through life at 10 miles an hour, and time isn't that precious because it's going so slowly. And I never believed her. I always wanted to grow up so fast. I wanted to accomplish this. I wanted to get this car. I wanted to go to the club. I wanted to do this. I wanted to be 21. All these things. And as I'm getting older, and all this time has now passed me by, especially with the addiction and mental health issues I had, I want time to go slower now. And so I'm 39 years old, and it's going 39 miles an hour, and now I got my seatbelt on, right? And I'm just trying to appreciate each day. As corny as that sounds, being cool to me is not important anymore. Once my daughter came into this world, you call me a cornball you want. I want to set a good example for her, show her, that her dad's not just the guy that lays on the couch and, does stupid shit all day. So I owe it all to them that I get this opportunity.
That's amazing.
Does this feel almost like a second life then? You have the 12 years off golf, you've now got your daughter, you've obviously gone sober. Now golf is such a big part of your life again, and obviously in live golf as well. That must feel like almost a second life, I guess?
It absolutely does. I haven't gotten too deep into the story because I'm waiting for the right time to tell the full story. Because, in the world these days, it's about the content you put out right now, and people make judgments. And to be honest, I do not give two shits if people think of this about me or that about me. But for the people that I'm trying to help, and the people that were in my shoes or are currently in my shoes, where they're struggling with certain things and don't feel like they're able to talk about it, I want to tell the full story so they understand the full landscape of what I was seeing, what I was going through, and what I did to get out of it.
In that time off, golf changed. Golf changed a lot.
Yeah.
The belts size have got smaller.
Yeah.
That's for one thing, right?
Yeah.
I bet you had to raid the old wardrobe and bring out that belt you used to rock was so bloody big.
Yeah, it was pretty obnoxious. Yeah, it was. I still don't know why I wore it.
It was the fashion.
Yeah.
Everyone was wearing it.
Well, I know the first one that I had ever worn that I accidentally brought to a golf tournament was from the Norman from where I went to college in Norman, Oklahoma, from the Sooner Fashion Mall. And I bought it, I think, for $15 or $20. And it was loose. The letters were loose, so they were spinning. So they looked cool, because back then spinning rims were
wheels,
the thing.
Yeah.
So, and I just kept them loose, and I started playing in tournaments with them, and then that's what I got known for.
You're huge pals.
Yeah.
Obviously, we've lived and breathed golf for those last 12 years. Certainly, funny enough, the amount of time I've been making YouTube videos, and I've reviewed pretty much every brand new driver that's been released in that time frame, all the new irons, putters, balls. I don't feel like I've maybe appreciated the equipment jumps because I've been in it. What's that been like for you? Because obviously when you came back in last year, you'd have got some equipment. I know you just talked about going for a fitting very soon, which is exciting. We'll come on to that in a minute. But how did you find the equipment change in that time frame?
Well, the game has certainly changed. I'm very appreciative of my relationship that I had with Nike and the people that I got to work with there. But the club's and so is the ball. So
Well, it's funny because Guy used to work for Nike. He was a fitter for Nike for
Yeah, I had
a while.
no problems trying to get ball speed up with the Nike product. Was quite tough at times.
yeah, no, it was it was just terrible, right? And that's not the reason I played bad. Probably if I didn't stay up all night, I would have played a little better, right? It wasn't the equipment. I'm not blaming the equipment, but it was. And so now coming back to the game, I had a bunch of club companies send me stuff that they thought I could use. One, 39-year-old body doesn't move like a 22-year-old body. So I need to get some stuff changed. The golf ball does not curve, which was my strength. I think that's why I played well at the British. I felt very comfortable playing in wind because I could curve the ball both ways, hit it low, hit it high. And now, I get to my first live event and everyone's hitting at the same height. Nobody's, using trajectory to change the distance. They're not curving the ball as much, right? So it's become more robotic and not as much of a feel game, but it is what it is. And I've noticed that it's a lot easier to get the ball in the fairway than it was using my Nike clubs. And I'm excited to go to Titleist and Callaway and test some stuff and finally get fitted. I used a golf ball that I didn't know had changed from when I played in college. I used a Titleist red ball. So that's what I thought I needed when I came back to play.
The Pro V1X.
The Pro yeah.
But they switched it around.
They switched it, I guess, 5 years ago. And I'm playing with Pat Perez, and he's like, "You're playing the wrong ball." And I thought he was messing with me. I hit his ball, and it went 15 yards further, and I finally could keep the ball down. So I definitely need to get fitted. I'm excited to go do that, and we'll see what happens.
I feel like you came into it, and I know it's hard again for me to kind of separate knowing you from your professional days 12 years ago and now. It feels like you really did come into it blind. Like you really didn't. What clubs did you even use? Like on that first round of golf in this season, what clubs have you actually been using?
I used pretty much a full Titleist bag.
So you just fairly stock set, or did you get fitted for those clubs?
No, I haven't gotten fitted yet. I still haven't gotten fitted. I did a wedge fitting. Not at the facility, but just with Ben in the truck, and he grinded some of that off. But I used a different grind on a wedge for probably 5 straight weeks because I couldn't find it, and that's why I'm heading out to San Diego to go do that.
And sorry, how come you haven't done it sooner? Has there been a reason?
Well, there's a couple reasons. I live in Oklahoma. It's in San Diego. I wanted to just kind of keep working, figuring out how to hit the ball in the center of the face before I go try to bend these clubs, right? A lot of people, I think amateurs, think the club is the fix. No, you got to fix the swing. And then once you get pretty consistent on where you hit the ball in the club, then you can make adjustments. And I wasn't hitting the ball consistently enough, well enough to do that. So I'm at the point now where I feel very comfortable with my golf game, much more confident than I was at the beginning of last year. And, you know, I'm going to put everything I got into it.
Does that come with a weird added pressure then into 2025? Like last year you played with this kind of like happy-go-lucky, you didn't know what to expect, you were grateful as you still are, I'm sure. Does now coming into 2025, you've had a season now of playing professional golf again, you're going to be getting all fitted for your brand new product. Like, does this come with a maybe an expectation on your own shoulders to think, I'm going to do better this year?
I'd be lying to you if I didn't say that I don't have expectations for myself, that I have certain standards, right? I didn't come back to just flail around. I knew it was going to take time. I don't think I prepared enough, but sometimes in life you just have to go for it. And sure, did I get thrown out with the Sharks, you know, 2.5, 3 months into practicing golf after almost 12 years of dealing with addiction issues? Yeah. Did I just break my ankle right before that? Yeah. I was in a boot for 4 months. Was I in rehab right before that? Yeah, I was in rehab right before that. Did I go to rehab before that? Yeah, I was in rehab before that too. You know,
but you saw an opportunity and you had to grab it, right?
I felt like when I've told this story a couple times now, but I was in the ER for quite a few days. And my wife brought my daughter into to the hospital to come see me, and I had lost my vision, and I could only really hear her. And so I told myself in that moment that if I, you know, made it out of this situation where the doctors were not, you know, saying that it was going to be very good for me, that I was going to do something courageous. And, you know, this might not be courageous to people like, oh, you got paid millions of dollars to come play golf. Like, oh, you're a big, courageous guy. To me, courage is, you know, with all my flaws, coming out here and showing, you know, I'm gonna up, I'm gonna shank a shot, maybe a few shots, but I'm gonna get back up on the next tee and give it everything I got. And my daughter being proud of me is worth more than any amount of money or what anyone else thinks of me. So going back to what you said, it's a second life for me.
Yeah. It's almost deeper than the actual golf shots. Like the journey back into this, the way you've described it, then it's deeper than just putting a score together over 18 holes for 3 rounds of golf. Like, it sounds like you want to have this opportunity to be able to show others that, again, using these connotations against life, if you shank it, okay, get up, recover from it, hit a better shot. You know, it's all those things. Like, it show, because that's what, you know, golf is very similar to life. It's not always going to go to plan.
Yeah.
It's how you recover and how you adapt and how you know, at least continue with the fight to try and, you know, beat the game of life and beat the game of golf.
Would you say that golf has helped you as well, coming back on a kind of journey and sobriety and having your daughter, having golf there to focus on, and obviously tournaments and live golf, has that helped you have that focus and that kind of desire as well?
1,000%. I was in the car with Max, you know, doing all the other stuff today, and we were talking about recovery and whatnot, and sobriety, and you know, what they teach in rehab is when you feel comfortable that you're finally past these issues, that's when it comes out and bites you, and that's when people fall back into the trap. So they teach you, you know, find different activities, find different hobbies that you like to do that don't include drinking and drugs and, you know, all the other stuff. And so, you know, I was blessed with this opportunity, you know, and by the way, whether people believe this or not, I had opportunities to play in multiple places. It wasn't, I just want to make that clear, because, you know, I heard these little keyboard warriors in the back, you know, in grandma's basement, just saying I couldn't have played the PGA Tour or whatever, but that's for a different day. But yeah, it gave me purpose. It took me away from just being at home, doing the same things. I get to travel with my family. You know, we get to go. I would never have gone to go look at these mountains, right? I would never have gone to look at these like old castles, but my daughter wants to.
Yeah.
So it's taken my focus from, oh man, I'm fighting this addiction, to I get to show my daughter this after being in this bad of a spot for this long. So I really feel like it's a blessing that I got this opportunity. And whether, you know, anybody else believes it or not, 2025 is going to be a big year for me. I'm going to make it happen. I know my game's trending in the right way. And to go back to what you said earlier, sure, there's pressure, but it's like fun pressure, as opposed to, oh, the real pressure is what my mom went through. The real pressure is, you know, not speaking the language and coming to a country and not having anybody to rely on and say, I'm going to pave the way for my child, right? With nobody helping her. That's pressure. What I'm doing, I get to play a game. I get to travel. I get to be around very amazing people, meet amazing people, eat good food, experience different cultures. Like, that's not pressure. I have expectations. So sure, do I get disappointed when I play poorly? Absolutely. Do I get more mad than I used to when I shank a shot? Yeah, I do. I still have that burning desire to play well. And I think that's the reason at some point it's going to turn around. I'm going to start playing great golf.
Do you think, with that being said, though, it's interesting to hear you get more almost angry now. Do you think you can almost leverage that superpower in the sense of that you have been through obviously a tough time? When you're on the golf course, if you do hit a bad shot, yes, you want to play great golf, but you've been through such a lot that what does one bad golf shot mean at the end of the day?
It does. You know, I look back, and the tournaments that I played well on the PGA Tour, I didn't really play that well when I was out there because I was screwing around a lot, right? I don't think that I was very sober for much of my career, but the tournaments I did play well, there was always something that put the perspective of playing golf for a living back. And I remember one of them was a young pitcher from, I think, the Angels, like, had died from an overdose, something like that, or a car crash. So I don't know what it was, but I won that week. And it was because I was thinking, like, you know, the guy was 23 years old, the same age as me, and I could be gone. And so those things really give you good perspective in life. And I tell my wife this all the time, I'm trying to remain grateful every single day, because once you get caught up in expectations and results, you start losing focus of what you should be grateful for.
Quick fire before we wrap it up.
Yeah.
Which venue are you most looking forward to visiting 2025? Either existing venue that you've been to or a new one.
I got two. I got definitely South Korea. It's coming full circle to go back with my mom and my daughter and to play golf in front of the Korean people. And two, it's to go back to Miami. I've got a lot of unfinished business there. That was the worst golf scores I shot. And I'm excited to go back. I know the news just came out today as far as the schedule, so I'm excited to go back. And obviously, you know, being a Trump supporter, I really like to play well in that event.
What part of your game are you working on the most for 2025?
I think just my short game. I'm going to continue to work on my short game.
You put in a lot. I've seen on Instagram.
I do.
You're on it a lot.
I do. My club, actually, the head pro at my club told me to start putting towels down on the greens, because I was making
Wearing it out.
too many footprints on the greens. But I pay full price like everybody else, so I don't know why I got to do it and other people don't.
You hit 100 times more golf balls. That's
Yeah,
why.
that's true.
What,
that's true.
And the last one.
sorry.
In 2025, can we see a podium finish?
I wouldn't be playing this year if I didn't expect myself to be competing to win golf tournaments.
Love that.
That's kind of what my question was going to be before we wrap this up. What, if we're lucky enough to sit here this time next year with yourself, what would a successful 2025 look like for you? What's your goals for this year?
It would be to sit here with you guys next year and you say, Anthony Kim playing golf was not a gimmick.
Right on.
I can say that now. I can say that now. Anthony, good luck.
Thank you guys.
I'm excited to see
Appreciate it.
you with fitted golf equipment,
Yep.
traveling the world, going playing golf in South Korea, and being on a podium 2025. Good luck with everything, pal. Thanks for coming on the podcast.
Thank you.
And it wasn't a gimmick.
I
We just used it
appreciate
for a clickbait thumb.
Hey,
clickbait
I understand.
title.
I understand. But I had to give you a hard time.
I know. Thanks very much for your time.
Thank you guys.